souls resting in captivity. Positive life sacrifice what it is to be our history. Only a quarter of a century reality sitting on the shoulders of a chemistry. See, ain't no mystery.
Seba Jun, better known as his stage name Ninjabis, which is just his name backwards, was born on February 7, 1974, in Shibuya, Tokyo. He was one of the few hip-hop producers in Japan to break onto the world stage. In his youth, making music was just a passing thought. However, that was until 1998, when Seba opened his own independent record label named Hideout Productions with Funky DL, who was a British MC and was also Seba's first official collaborator. Nujabes saw DL making music he wanted to make. Even though they were miles apart, he was so passionate about DL's work that he paid for his plane ticket to Shibuya just so they could collaborate. They made a handful of songs together, but Don't Even Try It was the song that would set the course for Jun's approach going forward. Have a listen to it here.
Ayo, step back, my voice hit the track. C-O-N-S is back, putting hack on the map. And it's about that time to come correct with the rhyme. Make the fellas inclined to make the ladies feel fine. We shine like sunlight and make the beat run right. Making you rock like you only got one night left to feel this. Stepping with the realness, we deal with this. Now it's all about the illness. Half stepping, never that we roll properly. A couple hundred bucks past gold, just like Monopoly. We full flash.
Nujabes' first album was Metaphorical Music. It was his turning point where he would become confident in his own sound. He was inspired by artists such as Jay Dilla and sampling from the greats like Miles Davis. He owned multiple record stores in Shibuya and would spend days digging through his collection finding the finest rare grooves. His strength came from his project's purity. His minimal beats let the grooves dig deep into the consciousness of the listener. Each choice crafted with painstaking detail, which is ironic because even though his process seemed simple, the level of equipment and time dedicated would say otherwise. Nujabes' setup was a mixture of analog devices and live instrumentation, which he would splice in to give the sampling more variety. Nujabes lived and died on analog media. Digital programs weren't out of the question, but rarely did he ever use digital sampling. Seba would take many old and worldly tracks and distill them into an energetic blend of production. Listen to the song here by Miles Davis. Now take a listen and see how Nujabes injected his own style and flair into it here. We can see how he can take the source material and combine it with all of his talent to make a brand new song while still calling back to that original piece. In Metaphorical Music, Nujabes also introduces us to another artist known as Shing02, who he went on to create more music together. I'll get into that later. During the time after Metaphorical Music had come out, Nujabes had slowly been making a name for himself. During this time, Shinichiro Watanabe, who was the creator of the critically acclaimed anime series Cowboy Bebop, was working on a new show called Samurai Champloo, a samurai tale with hip-hop influence. Watanabe said that he immediately thought of Nujabes when deciding on who he wanted to create the music for his show, and reached out to him first. With a collection of other masterful artists, they made one of the most arguably great original soundtracks for an anime ever. Another artist that was also invited to work on the music was Shing02, which you'll remember from Nujabes' first album, Metaphorical Music. Have listened to Nujabes' and Shing02's song Battle Cry, which was the opening for the anime. The lyrics speak of the Battle of the Samurai and gets you ready for samurai action with a hip-hop soul. Samurai Champloo gained a sizable following in the West and was a lot of people's first exposure to NinjaBiz's music. Following the show a year later, in 2005, he would release his second album, Modal Soul. Modal Soul is a great improvement over metaphorical music, filled with excellent lyricism that complements the intricate soundscapes that Seba creates, and does an excellent job of showcasing his strengths as a producer. Feather, the first song on the album, is playing in the background now. Another noticeable track on here is Lovesick Part 3 featuring Shingo 2 again. We'll get back to this. After Modal Soul, NinjaBiz didn't produce another album for a few years. He did more collabs and promoted friends' work. Around 2009, people were aware he was working on another project. However, it saddens me to tell you that on February 26, 2010, Jun Seba passed away after a tragic car accident. Later, Hideout Productions announced that they would be releasing Seba's album the following year. This would be his final album, Spiritual State. A close friend of Seba's who worked on music with him would help finish the album. The album was a good release and didn't try to reinvent his style. It was very mellow. This was most likely due to his new studio's location, or maybe it was just his mood at the time. I think it was a celebration of his style, and we do have to consider that he didn't complete it before he passed away. Now, finally coming full circle, Shingo 2 was working on the Lovesick Hexology, which is a series of 6 songs that Seba and Shingo 2 worked on and released as Seba produced his various albums and projects throughout the years. You remember Part 1 was in his first album, and Part 3 was in Modal Soul. The final 2 parts, 5 and 6, were finished after Seba's passing. Seba and Shingo 2 had already been working on Part 5. However, they found Part 6 recorded on Seba's phone and it was titled as such. Shingo 2 would go on to finish Part 6, and I believe the Hexology is an excellent showcase of Seba's work. But I think that Part 5 and 6 are true send-offs to NinjaBiz and his legacy. Legacy was something that Seba struggled with in the past. Living up to his prior success is tough. Seba Jun was a lot of things. A producer, a curator who went out his way to get talented artists from all over the world. But yet, in his own words, he was just a regular guy. And that's the beauty of his legacy. You may see him as a tragic musician taken before his time. People tend to put these kinds of musicians on a pedestal. However, it's a legacy of a man who people see as irreplaceable. And while there won't be another NinjaBiz, this wasn't in his message, which is that anyone can enjoy music and anyone can make music, turning that passion into something that will reach people and resonate with them for years to come. He left quite a mark in the digital space as we see the rise of lo-fi hip-hop, steady beats, and countless other channels. NinjaBiz is looked at as the grandfather of lo-fi, so I think that he got his wish in the end.
I see the angels draw the trace.